Hello there and welcome once again to Red Gaming Tech. My name is Marta and I'm here once again with the latest news as of the 16th of June. And I've got some more technical focused news for you today as Samsung has announced the Galaxy S4 Zoom. And some of you might remember the Galaxy camera that came out pretty much a year ago, and you may recall that it roughly mimicked the specs of an international Samsung Galaxy S3, but it had a unique camera system and body. Although it wasn't actually a phone, as it could make phone calls, it did include cellular connectivity and was arguably the best in the first of a limited number of connected cameras competing with it. And after many rumours and so forth, Samsung has announced the Galaxy S4 Zoom, which is an updated version of its connected camera line with the display and front face emulating the SG S4, but topped with another 16 megapixel camera. And it does appear that Samsung's biggest emphasis with the follow-up is thickness, as the S4 Zoom is 15.4mm thick compared to the 19mm for Galaxy camera. Display though gets a bump down from 720p LCD to QHD LCD, and oddly enough the SoC, which is of course system on chip, goes from the quad A9 Exynos 4412 to a dual A9 Exynos 4212, although Samsung does include the usual quote-unquote AP differed by market caveat. So there is a possibility that the LTE variant includes some classed Snapdragon SoC. Unfortunately, it isn't really easy to find out until all the different model numbers and band combinations are out in the open. So until this thing actually comes out, we won't know for sure the raw power of this thing. It seems like that in terms of the sensor size, which is of course the camera lens and so forth, is pretty much the same as the previous Galaxy camera, as well as the image resolution. The captured photo size is still 4608 by 3456. So all of the formatting stuff and all of the sensor jargon is all the same. So pretty much they haven't made any huge improvements to the sensor despite getting the package thinner. But from what I'm reading of some of the comments, there was a desire for a larger one due for better indoor and low light sensitivity. Although thankfully there is still optical image stabilization on board. And the change in thickness does also come with a slightly higher f-stop. The widest and most telephoto points from f2.8 to f3.1 wide open and f5.9 to f6.3 at telephoto. And there's pretty much no way around the fact that on paper the S4 Zoom is a bit of a step down compared to the Galaxy camera, but it is thinner and by default of course lighter. Although the real benefit that it's a connected camera running Android 4.2 and including GNSS, 802.11n dual band Wi-Fi, BT 4.0 NFC, as well as a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. The biggest change though is that unlike the Galaxy camera, the S4 Zoom is capable of making voice calls directly. So basically you could use it as a hybrid smartphone plus a fairly decent camera from what I'm reading, although it would have been nice if they'd made some significant improvements to the camera side of things. The camera looks good, don't get me wrong, but of course they haven't really made any huge improvements to the camera lens. I'm going to read out some differences. For the Samsung Galaxy camera, it was 86mm and then with f-stop of 2.8 to 5.9 and 21 times zoom, and of course the optical image stabilization. As for the S4 Zoom, we have an f-stop of 3.1 to 6.3 and 10 times zoom, but they still have the optical image stabilization. So you can see there's not really a huge amount of difference. The f-stop, although it goes higher, doesn't go as low, so it's about the same in terms of the range of lighting options available. And some of you might be wondering, well, what the hell is f-stop? You know, if you're not a photographer or a camera person, you're not going to know what that is. And to be honest, that's a really complex topic, but I'll give you a brief explanation just to make sure you're understanding what I'm actually talking about. And basically it means the lens speed, how fast it can actually take the photo, and also with f-stop you can have various lighting options. So for example, if I were filming something, I would want to mess around with the f-stop for different lighting conditions and change the aperture, and that's the main thing that f-stop is used for. That's the basic way to explain it. I could probably go on for ages about f-stop, considering that I actually did a course on video production. I know quite a bit about this topic, and it's something that I've been wanting to cover on the channel, just generally speaking, but of course that is not the video here for that, I mean. Anyway, that's me done for this video. I hope you found it interesting, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.